It is safe to say the current meta is annoying a lot of people, and a lot of us are anxiously waiting for patch 1.6 to see what much needed changes are being implemented. In patch 1.5's notes, Riot gave us a hint of what these changes may be, so I'm going to have a look at what we can expect to see in patch 1.6. My first prediction is that the MK3 floor Begon will be nerfed and adjusted into a 2 mana cost turret, and the MK2 Evolution turret will become the new 3 cost turret. Let me explain why I think this is going to be the case. It will come as no surprise that Riot are going to be adjusting the power of Heimer's turrets. Heimer via control has been the top tier meta deck for quite a while now, but this is not the problem itself. The problem is in that the playstyle that this deck leads to being very clunky or rigid meta. This means that most decks are being built with the purpose of beating this deck, or beating the decks that are trying to beat this deck, and so on. So everything is revolving around Heimer Vi, which it shouldn't be. At the moment, the main problem is the MK3 Floor Be Gone, which has elusive. Just 7 attacks from these turrets will win you the game, and there's far too many free cost spells such as Flash of Brilliance and Get Excited in Piltover and Zorn, meaning it is way too easy to bring these turrets out. The change I would like to see is swapping the 2 and 3 mana cost turrets, as this will mean that the MK2 will be a 2-1 with elusive, and the MK3 will be a 3-1 with tough. This will solve multiple things. There are less activator spells for 2 mana in Piltover and Zorn. Currently Mystic Shot is the only frequently used spell. Scrapdash Assembly and Slumpwork maps are also 2 mana, but see far less usage. Additionally, having just 1 less attack would mean you need 10 hits to win the game, opposed to 7, slowing down the speed of the deck significantly, so these turrets can be ignored for just that little bit longer. This would give aggro decks more time to finish off the game, and mid-range see far less pressure in mid-game, allowing them to have a way better matchup. This would make the deck no longer meta-centric, and probably, say, an A-tier deck, resulting in more variety in the meta, and therefore a better game experience overall. My next prediction is that Flame Chompers will have its damage changed from 0 to 1, and Vision will be buffed to grant all allies plus 2 damage instead. Additionally, I would like to see a rework on discard cards with a new phrase added. When I see you discard a card, do X. For example, Zorn Eye Urchin could be reworked to have the effect, when I see you discard a card, summon me. Let me explain this in more detail. Currently the discard strategy is not satisfying to use and is not viable in any way. Firstly, this mechanic should be fun and a risky way of playing, but isn't attractive at the moment as it's just too much of a disadvantage to discard your cards permanently from the game. Currently the only win condition for this strategy is Jinx themed decks around burning. However, Jinx can easily be removed and afterwards you are left with an empty board and hand. No deck should be solely reliant on one card, which is why she sees little use. If you want a good burn deck, you would opt for a standard Noxus Piltover burn aggro deck, so a Jinx burn deck is just a bit too suboptimal in my opinion. Cards like Flame Chompers and Vision are very interesting cards, which have a lot of potential, and both work around the discard mechanic. I currently feel they're very underpowered, and a +1 damage buff on both of these would make them more viable and increase the win rate of the archetype. On a much larger scale, a rework to discard themed cards is needed, and I'd like to see cards with effects such as, when I see you discard a card, do X. It could be damage to the Nexus, or board centric effects, something that fits in more with the aggressive playstyle of this mechanic. This would make discard theme more viable for a wider and more diverse meta. My third prediction is that quite a few Noxus burn cards will be nerfed, and I will list a few of these changes now that I think will occur. Legion Saboteur has been seen in every burn aggro deck for a long time now, and she's far too much value for a 1 mana cost card. I think she should be nerfed to have her effect activated on play rather than on attack, which won't actually be a heavy nerf, but will make her slightly less valuable on instances where she doesn't actually attack several times in one battle. Legion Grenadier I think will have its last breath burn damage reduced to 1. He simply has way too much value for his cost, and you're punished heavily for simply trying to kill him, and there's no way to counterplay this. I personally think his base damage should be decreased to 2, however Riot have hinted it will be the burn damage they're looking more to adjust with patch 1.6. I think Imperial Demolitionist should have her mana cost increased to 3, which will help slow the efficiency of burn aggro decks whilst maintaining the damage it can deal. I think maintaining the 2 burn damage is fine here, as it's a one-off effect on play. Finally, I think Crimson Disciple needs her burn damage reduced from 2 to 1, as she has way too much value for a 2 mana card. Unlike Demolitionist, her effect can be used multiple times, so I feel increasing her cost to 3 would be too minor a nerf. What do you guys think? I personally would love to see her playable in Vlad decks, but not used as a token burn cards in burn aggro decks. The reasons why I think these cards should be nerfed is due to it leading into a very boring and stale meta. Aggro decks are fine when mid-range and control decks also have viability, however at the moment they do not, so this needs to be changed to lead to a much healthier meta and make the Addtions of Runeterra a better game overall. Before writing the script for this video with Bomber TV, I reached out on Facebook to see what the wider community thought should change. On top of similar suggestions to the nerfs I mentioned already, here are some other ones that I really liked. The first suggestion was nerfing Flash of Brilliance. This is another powerful card I feel needs its cost increased to 4, as effectively it costs nothing at times when you already had 3 spell mana. Along with the adjustments to MK3 floor Be Gone, it should settle the Heimer Vi control deck. Another suggestion was nerfing Ezreal. Lots of people commented how he can single-handedly win you the game, and alongside Karma, can lead to some really tricky horrible games. I saw a suggestion that his level up condition should be increased to 10 enemies being targeted, which I quite liked. A subtle, but does the job and keeps him playable kind of change, which I'm a very big fan of. A Swain nerf was also suggested. The comment said Swain offers way too much for his mana cost. Multiple effects, plus a keyword, and he's also super easy to level up, making him insanely powerful for his mana cost. Compared to other champions, the only one that comes close in terms of value is Heimer, which objectively is broken right now. I feel it would be fair increasing his mana cost to 6 as an absolute minimum. My final suggestion received was nerfing Sejuani. The commenter thought frostbiting the whole team is way too easy with puff decks and Make It Rain for example. A sensible nerf would be to make frostbite only followers with a certain health, for example 3 or less for it. Outside of buffs and nerfs, there's some other things I'd like to see added in patch 1.6 and going forward as well. We recently got a whole new game mood in the form of labs, and ARAM labs is going to expire soon. One interesting idea for a new lab could be a Call of the Warmother, active at the start with each player starting on full mana. This means that every turn a unit will be summoned from the deck, and you'll also have a lot of mana to answer your opponent with any way you can with fun units and spells. Both players could have a mirror deck or something similar to help keep the mood fun, random, but also balanced. Gauntlets were released a month ago, and we have only standard and singleton gauntlets at the moment. I would love to see a tri-region gauntlet, as this would create a whole new world of possibilities. Imagine a King Cow elusive with a splash of Teemo, including cards from Freyord, Piltover and Zorn, and Iona. Or how about the ultimate control deck, featuring Anivia Control, with a splash of Iona for Deny and Will of Iona, so Shadow Isles, Freyord and Iona. Or how about the most aggressive burn deck you'll ever see, with the burn from Piltover and Zorn, the elusive for Iona, and the aggressive nature from Noxus. Currently the deck section is lacking a bit. We can't edit the image on the front of the deck easily, so we can't easily recognise the deck for example. We can't order them, and we can't easily distinguish which ones are for which moods, so a standard deck or a gauntlet deck, without writing specifically that in the deck name. Having tabs at the top saying Standard or Gauntlet, and a Gauntlet tab with further tabs such as Standard and Singleton, with their unique deck building rules, would make things a whole lot more organised and clearer in my opinion. I would also love to see some more boards added to the game. What board theme would you like to see added next? So this is my first time recording a video like this, as I'm usually reporting on the meta rather than predicting it. Do you guys like the format of the video? Once again, I couldn't have done this without Bomber TV. Please check out his channel, which is currently linked in the card in the top right. He's a Masters tier player and he's way more knowledgeable than me, and he regularly discusses his thoughts on the game in way more detail than I could ever provide. Please do check him out. Thanks again guys for watching, please do like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.